FNCS Heats and LCQ is finally over, and with the Grand Finals lobby now locked in, things are gonna get crazy. We had a match bug that flipped the entire leaderboard on day 2. 2 of the biggest names in OC not qualling Grands, and a last chance qualifier that closed the door on their season. There's a lot to cover, so let's get into it. Day 1 of Heats was clean. No bugs, no controversy, just Fortnite. 5 games, 23 duos to Grands, and 5 different game winners. Game 1 went to Massimo Montaigne with the Collider split. They finished in the Heat 5th overall with 1,024 points. 1 game win and enough placement points to carry them on through. Game 2 was Tan Man and Bolts on the Storm Station split, ending the day on 1,074 points. Game 3 went to Rise and Jackoka, who finished 4th overall with 1,027 points. Game 4 was Hydra and Parav, running the split just below Dark Dominion at the Nature's Vine restaurant. These two just didn't win a game. They topped the entire Heat, 1,116 points, 1 win, and the best average placement in the lobby. They're the Heat 1 winners. Game 5 closed out with Voz and Arns taking on Dark Dominion. They finished 2nd overall with 1,082 points, 1 win, and extremely consistent across 5 games. That's only day 1. 23 teams, no drama. Then Sunday happened. Game 1 wraps up and the leaderboard just breaks. Word starts going around that game 1 isn't gonna count, which, if you just won game 1, is the worst news that you could ever hear. That was Arx and Riki. But luckily, a day later, an update came through that game 1 was being added back to the leaderboard. Heat 2 would be 6 games with 24 qualifiers, and to balance it out, 1 game was getting removed from the last chance qualifiers. That's a rough way to find out that you won, but at least Arx and Riki get their win back and make Grands. Let's run through it. Game 1 went to Arx and Riki at Painted Palms, the game that got voided, then unvoided. They finished the Heat at 5th place on 1,081 points. Game 2 is the one that everybody is talking about. On paper, the win goes to Snaggy and Star at the Fun Factory split. In reality, this was Vazen and Gerald's game. They were set up perfectly in endgame. Then Vazen made a calculated risk. He took shockwaves into the storm just to play heal off. Gerald tried to hold the high ground, but he hit the wrong button and he fell off height. That handed the game to Star, who closed it off in a solo clutch. Snaggy and Star took home the game 2 win. Vazen and Bulldogs ended up 9th overall with 292 points, missing out on the victory royale. It's an absolute gut punch. Snaggy and Star finished 4th overall with 1,090 points. Game 3 went to Kazi and Aspect on the Storm Station split. They finished in the Heat 3rd overall with 1,106 points. Game 4 was Slaxy and MTB, running split just right of Painted Palms. They finished 6th overall on the leaderboard with 1,037 points. Game 5 went to Tinker and Resigns at Battlewood Boulevard. They finished 2nd overall in the Heat with 1,186 points. 1 game win and one of the most consistent duo performances across the entirety of day 2. Game 6 went to XCon and Darksea. These two topped the Heat with 1,199 points, 1 win, and the best average placement, 6 games, 24 duos through. And the 2 names that everyone noticed that weren't on the qualified list was ANON and Spooks. Not qualifying out of Heats is one thing, but when it's ANON and Spooks, it's the story of the tournament. Straight to the last chance qualifiers. It's the last chance to save their season. LCQ is the last door. Miss this and you're out of FNCS. No Grands, no Summit Land, season's over. 3 spots for Grand Finals were up for grabs. And here's how it went. Game 1 went to Riven Protoon at Squibbly Shores. They finished LCQ on 2nd at 1,000 points. Game 2 went to Sequel and Brewski at Wonkyland. They tied on 1,000 points with River and Protoon, but dropped to 3rd on the tiebreaker. Game 3 went to Glows and Outer on the Fun Factory split, 1,010 points, chopping the LCQ Finals leaderboard. They are your LCQ winners. That's your final 3 through to Grands: River and Protoon, Sequel and Brewski, and Glows and Outer. And then there's the other story. ANON Spooks finished 35th in LCQ Finals, but only the top 3 qualify, so they're out. Back-to-back heartbreak. They missed Heats and got sent to LCQ as heavy favorites, and they couldn't close it out there either. No Grand Finals, no Summit Land, the season's done. For a duo of their caliber to go out in Heats and LCQ in the same major is not something anyone had on their radar going in. Don't worry, it's too much talent to stay down for long, and I'm fully expecting these two to come back firing next major. But this one's going to have to sit with them for a while. And that's the Grand Finals lobby. 50 duos, 47 through Heats, and 3 through LCQ. There's no more second chances. Hydra and Parav go in as Heat 1 winners. XCon and Darksea topped Heat 2. And Glows and Outer came through LCQ. And that's the Grand Finals lobby locked in. 50 duos, 12 games, 2 days. Only 3 punched their ticket to the Major 1 Summit LAN, $1 million LAN event in Dusseldorf, representing OCE on the world stage against the best duos on the planet. And this lobby is stacked. Hydra and Parav coming off a dominant Heat 1 win. XCon and Darksea topping Heat 2. Resigns and Tinker just right behind them. Voz and Arns on Dark Dominion. Kazi and Aspect on Storm Station. Snaggy and Star riding the momentum from that game 2. And now Glows and Outer coming through LCQ swinging. The drop map is going to be chaos. The points are going to be tight, and with only 3 land spots up for grabs, teams can't afford to play it safe. Someone's going to have a breakout weekend, and someone's going to choke. Someone's walking away with an OCE Major 1 FNCS title. So who's taking it? Predictions dropping on Twitter soon next, with a full drop map breakdown, team by team rundown, and our top 3 picks for the land spot winners. You don't want to miss it. Drop a like if you made it this far, and subscribe for grand finals coverage all weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.